Truth and Reconciliation Commission Recommendations for Justice, numbers 31 through 36. We call upon the federal, provincial, and territorial governments to provide sufficient and stable funding to implement and evaluate community sanctions that will provide realistic alternatives to imprisonment for Aboriginal offenders and respond to the underlying causes of offending. We call upon the federal government to amend the criminal code to allow trial judges, upon giving reasons, to depart from mandatory minimum sentences and restrictions on the use of conditional sentences. Number 33, we call upon the federal, provincial, and territorial governments to recognize as a high priority the need to address and prevent fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, and to develop, in collaboration with Aboriginal people, FASD preventative programs that can be delivered in culturally appropriate manners. Number 34, we call upon the governments of Canada, the provinces and territories to undertake reforms to the criminal justice system to better address the needs of offenders with FASD, including 1, providing increased community resources and powers for courts to ensure that FASD is properly diagnosed and that appropriate community supports are in place for those with FASD. 2, enacting statutory exemptions from mandatory minimum sentences of imprisonment for offenders affected by FASD. 3, providing community, correctional, and parole resources to maximize the ability of people with FASD to live in the community. 4, adopting appropriate evaluation mechanisms to measure the effectiveness of such programs and ensure community safety. We call upon the federal government to eliminate barriers to the creation of additional Aboriginal healing lodges within the federal correctional system. Number 36, we call upon the federal, provincial, and territorial governments to work with Aboriginal communities to provide culturally relevant services to inmates on issues such as substance abuse, family and domestic violence, and overcoming the experience of having been sexually abused.